Developmental psychology studies physical, social, and cognitive changes throughout your lifespan. Chromosomes are thread-like structures made of DNA. DNA holds genetic information with a double helix held by nucleotides. Genes are the biochemical units of heredity that make up chromosomes and are capable of synthesizing proteins. A genome is, from smallest to largest, the nucleotides, genes, DNA, and chromosomes, and they are also the blueprint for existence. Natural selection is survival of the fittest, and behavior genetics is the study of both genetics and environment and their limits and influences on behavior. Mutation is a random error in genes that leads to changes in nucleotide sequence. Heritability is a variation among individuals that we can attribute to genes. Temperament is a person's characteristic emotional reactivity and intensity. Environmental influences typically account for less than 10% of children's personality differences. The dependence of one factor on another, or nature and nurture together, is interaction. An understood rule for accepted and expected behavior is called a norm. A set of norms about a social position is called a role. Memes are self-replicating ideas, fashions, and innovations passed from person to person. Gender is defined as characteristics for which we define male and female. An XX chromosome is a female, and an XY chromosome is a male. Gender roles are a set of expectations for males and females. Gender typing is what we consider masculine or feminine. At a young age, we learn what it means to be male or female and adjust to it. This is called gender schema theory. Gender identity is one's sense of being male or female. The theory that we learn social behavior by observing and imitating, and by being rewarded or punished, is called social learning theory. Most of the time, males are individualists and females are relationship-oriented. Men are more likely than women to answer haphazardly and admit they don't know. This is called male answer syndrome. The use of communication to explore relationships is called interdependent. Bonds and feelings of support are also stronger among women. You begin as a zygote, a fertilized egg. After cell division becomes rapid and cells differentiate or specialize, you become an embryo. This stage lasts from 2 weeks to 2 months. After 9 weeks, you become a fetus and continue to be a fetus until birth. Teratogens are harmful agents that can reach the embryo or the fetus. Physical and cognitive abnormalities in children caused by their mother's drinking problems when pregnant is called fetal alcohol syndrome, or FAS. A baby's tendency to open their mouths and look for a nipple when someone touches their cheeks is called brooding reflex. When babies lose interest after looking at the same thing for too long, it is called habituation. Attachment is a powerful survival impulse that keeps infants close to their caregivers. Body contact. Babies are attached not to those who satisfy nourishment needs, but to something soft and warm, according to Harlow's monkeys. Mere exposure fosters fondness. This is familiarity. A critical period is an optimal period shortly after birth when an organism's exposure to certain stimuli or experiences produces proper development. Imprinting is the process by which certain animals form attachments during a critical period very early in life, according to Conrad. Basic trust, according to Erik Erikson, is a sense that the world is predictable and trustworthy. It is said to be formed during infancy by appropriate experiences with responsive caregivers. Secure attachment leads to more confidence later on in social situations. Without attachment, people are often withdrawn, frightened, or speechless. Self-concept is a sense of one's identity and personal worth. Self-awareness begins when we recognize ourselves in a mirror. There are 3 different parenting styles. An authoritarian parenting style imposes rules and expects obedience. A permissive parent submits to their child's desires, makes few demands, and uses little punishment. An authoritative parent is both demanding and responsive and is the best for a child's self-esteem. The universal sequence for motor maturation is rolling, crawling, walking, and then finally running. A person's schema is a concept or framework that organizes and interprets information. Interpreting one's new experience in terms of one's existing schemas is called assimilation. On the other hand, adapting one's current understandings or schemas to incorporate new information is called accommodation. Jean Piaget's stages of cognitive development. From 0 to 2 years old, sensory motor. Experiencing the world through senses and actions includes object permanence and stranger anxiety. From 2 to 6 years old, pre-operational. Representing things with words and images but lacking logical reasoning. This includes pretend play, language development, and egocentrism, the inability to take another's point of view. From 7 to 11 years, concrete operational. Thinking logically about concrete events, grasping concrete analogies, and performing arithmetical operations. Includes conservation and mathematical transformations. From 12 years old to adulthood, formal operational, abstract reasoning, abstract logic, and potential for mature moral reasoning. The ability to understand that people have their own thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and behavior is called theory of mind.
Erikson's 8-stage theory of psychological development. Infancy, trust versus mistrust. If needs are dependably met, infants develop a sense of basic trust. Toddlerhood, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Toddlers learn to exercise will and do things for themselves, or they doubt their abilities. Preschooler, initiative versus guilt. Preschoolers learn to initiate tasks and carry out plans, or they feel guilty about efforts to be independent. Elementary school, competence versus inferiority. Children learn the pleasure of applying themselves, or they feel inferior. Adolescence, identity versus role confusion. Teenagers work at refining a sense of self by testing roles and then integrating them to form a single identity, or they become confused about who they are. Young adulthood, intimacy versus isolation. Young adults struggle to form close relationships and to gain the capacity for intimate love, or they feel socially isolated. Middle adulthood, generativity versus stagnation. The middle-aged discover a sense of contributing to the world, usually through family and work, or they feel a lack of purpose. Late adulthood, integrity versus despair. When reflecting on his or her life, the older adult may feel a sense of satisfaction or failure. Puberty is the period of sexual maturation during which a person becomes capable of reproducing. For females, this is generally at the age of 11, while males it's at the age of 13. Primary sex characteristics are the body structures that make sexual reproduction possible, such as the ovaries and testes. Secondary sex characteristics are the non-reproductive sexual characteristics, such as breasts and hips, male voice quality, and body hair. Menarche is the first menstrual cycle for a female, and spermarche is the first ejaculation for a male. Kohlberg stages of moral development. Pre-conventional morality. Before age 9, most children have a pre-conventional morality of self-interest. They obey either to avoid punishment or to gain concrete rewards. Conventional morality. By early adolescence, morality usually evolves to a more conventional level that cares for others and upholds laws and social rules simply because they are the laws and rules. Post-conventional morality. Some of those who develop the abstract reasoning of formal operational thought may come to a third level. Post-conventional morality affirms people's agreed-upon rights or follows what one personally perceives as basic ethical principles. Social clock is the culturally preferred timing of social events such as marriage, parenthood, and retirement. Menopause is the time of natural cessation of menstruation. This refers to the biological changes a woman experiences as her ability to reproduce decline. Men don't experience menopause, but do experience a gradual decrease in sperm count, testosterone level, and speed of erection and ejaculation. Dementia is mental erosion. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive and irreversible brain disorder characterized by gradual deterioration of memory, language, and finally, physical functioning. Crystallized intelligence is one's accumulated knowledge and verbal skills. Fluid intelligence is one's ability to reason speedily and abstractly. Crystallized intelligence tends to increase with age, while fluid intelligence tends to decrease during late adulthood.
Kubler-Ross says that there are 5 stages to dying. The first stage is denial. There's no way. The second step is anger. Why is this happening to me? The third stage is bargaining. Please, insert God that you follow, give me one more chance. The fourth stage is depression. Oh no. And finally, the fifth stage is acceptance. I'm dying now.